Welcome back. I'm Alex Kraemer. It's now time to take a quick look at today's business headlines. And for help with that, we're going to bring in Executive Vice President for the Commonwealth Foundation, Jennifer Stefano, and America's accounting professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Good morning.
Morning, Alex.
All right, Dan, starting with the markets, which ended their worst week since 2020 last week. On a mixed note, today, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ are closed in observance of Juneteenth holiday, of course. But Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen spoke yesterday, saying that a recession is not inevitable, but that inflation is, quote unquote, unacceptably high. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is back in the hot seat on Capitol Hill this week. So, Dan, what is he expected to talk about?
What can he talk about? Inflation. How about that? What everyone is talking about. Look, it is most unfortunate for Jerome Powell that this administration has basically just dumped the inflation problem on him. This is not a Federal Reserve issue. This is a policy issue, specifically energy policy. And until the White House starts to get a grip on their energy policies and their economic policies, Jerome Powell only has one way to go: increase interest rates and send us into a recession. That's about it.
All right. Well, while things aren't rosy for investors, gas prices did slip below the $5 mark 2 days in a row. That's positive. The White House now floating the idea of gas rebates for Americans. Jennifer, good morning. How would this all work?
Yeah, it wouldn't work. This is the continued problem with this administration, a tax and spend administration. This is what got us here in the first place, where the Biden administration put an excess of money on the street through the stimulus packages, through their Build Back Better plan. And the problem is when people have money that they didn't go out and earn, meaning producing goods and services, and they just have money to buy things, then there's entirely too much. Prices go up. There's too much demand, not enough supply. This is not going to work. You're going to see continued price increases throughout the summer. There's only one way to fix the energy crisis, and that is to let America safely explore and drill and provide our own energy, which we have an abundance of here in the United States.
Absolutely. All right. Well, on top of inflation, consumers are still dealing with supply shortages. Dan, what shortages can Americans expect this summer?
Well, I think they're going to be in the unfortunate situation of continuing to have shortages. Remember, this whole supply and demand issue that we're looking at, the government seems to want to focus in on the demand side. They want to lower demand. That is absolutely the wrong approach. We have a supply problem. We have to make sure that we are getting supplies to the shelves. Until we do that, nothing is going to change. So we have to focus in on what the supply chain disruptions are, and we need to focus in on those areas.
All right, how about this? Employees at one Apple store in a suburb of Baltimore held a history-making vote this weekend, becoming the first store in the company to unionize. So, Jennifer, how will this affect Apple moving forward?
Well, it's limited to one store, so I'm interested to see if Apple, in fact, closes that store. I don't think they would do it immediately. I think the optics on that would be very poor, but they are going to have to increase costs in order to meet up with the union demands. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that store ends up doing, whether it's there in a year or in 18 months. And then if this is endemic and spreads across the country to other Apple stores.
Oh, interesting.
It's a wait-and-see moment.
Yeah, okay. Well, how about this? Elon Musk is busy mulling over the purchase of Twitter, of course. Now, there's a buzz of a bumpy road ahead for Tesla. So, Dan, there's word that VW could overtake Tesla as the world's leading electric car maker. Can you expand on that?
Sure. So I don't necessarily think that this is a bad thing. It may not be great for Tesla, but in terms of the market, anytime you're having competition like this, it's good because ultimately it leads to lower prices for consumers. So more competition, better for all of us. We already know car prices are skyrocketing. perhaps if VW is on this trajectory to take over the EV market, it will lead to lower prices for all of us.
Oh, yeah, put the smile on your face. And how about this? One retailer trying to do right by customers this July 4th holiday. Jennifer, what exactly is Sam's Club doing? And do you think ultimately it'll be a good move for the company?
Yeah, I think they're recognizing the lessons from 2008, which is when these bargain discount membership clubs really came into being, came into their own, and people really started paying attention to them. The consumer shift in behavior during the 2008 recession was to leave behind traditional grocers and switch over to places like Sam's Club and Costco's. So what I think Sam's Club is doing is reminding everyone as they're rethinking their spending behaviors, hey, we're here, we have lower prices, you can get things in bulk. This is perfect for an about to happen recession. And I think that's what Sam's doing. And I think it's good for business that they're going to be out ahead of the curve and build their brand.
Absolutely. Well, finally, we do love to end on an interesting note sometimes. Well, the price of steak has gone up. This might be the most expensive steak lunch on the menu. All right, guys, someone paid $19 million to lunch with Warren Buffett. Dan, tell us about this one.
Well, listen, this is for charity, so I can't imagine anybody who could afford to spend $19 million on a lunch really needs to seek advice from Warren Buffett. But be it as it may, it gets advertising for the charity that is hosting this event. So $19 million for lunch, okay, let's do it.
If it's for charity, all righty. Jennifer Stefano, Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Alex.
Christina?
Thanks, Alex. Well, President Biden says he's not traveling to Saudi Arabia